I am back with another update for Seed to Table, and this week I'm going to be showing you how big all the plants have gotten, including the ones that we planted together. And then I'm also going to go over, I'll do that now. I'll go over what we can start to plant outside. So as I said in one of the previous videos, you have to check what zone you are. Now I am zone 5, which is pretty cold. So if you're anywhere south of New York, then it's going to be a little different. But even if you're in the state of New York, it changes. So go check to see what your zone is. And then check to see what your last frost date is. So for me, it's the end of May. So I can't really safely plant a lot of my plants outside until the last weekend of May. So basically like June. So that's why I start all these plants so early. Now, some things you just start outside, like carrots, right? I usually start a lot of my beets outside, although I started some inside. But there are some plants that you could start to plant 2 to 4 weeks before the last frost. And I'm switching hands with my camera. I wrote some of them down. So you could plant some lettuces, kale, spinach. Now spinach likes it cold, and so it's going to do well. And then once it gets hot, it's going to bolt, meaning it's going to go to flower. So it's good to plant spinach in the cold. Beets, carrots, radishes, peas, cabbages, broccoli, onions, and leeks. Now I already planted my onions and I forgot to film it, but onions are really simple and you can plant them pretty early. Now we had some pretty cold weather here where it went down into the 20s. So I'm not sure how they're gonna do. We'll see what happens. But I have leeks outside that came back from last year, and the garlic obviously is out there. So I guess I don't have a lot of experience with onions, so I'm just kind of winging it. So I have a lot of those plants growing indoors. And so starting on around May 1st, I'm going to start hardening them. So I'm going to start, what that means is I'm going to bring my plants from out here in the warmth and protection of this sunroom, and I'm going to start leaving them outside for a couple of hours a day, just getting them used to like the sunlight, the wind, the different types of weather they're going to be exposed to when you plant them in the garden. And when you don't do this, sometimes they kind of go into shock and they stop growing. Sometimes they wilt. I did this last year because I just didn't know, right? So all my plants struggled at the beginning, and some of them even died. And so I'm going to start doing that probably last week in April, first week in May. And then I'm also going to start some seeds outside even before then, because it says, 2 to 4 weeks. So probably I'll harden them for a week. Okay, so I'll keep doing that for a week, a couple of hours more each day, and then I'll put them out. So I'll probably be putting some of my plants out, the ones I mentioned a few minutes ago, in the first week, at the end of the first week of May. And that's also when I'm going to plant my carrot seeds, probably my peas. There's some other seeds. I might plant more beet seeds. I'll definitely plant some lettuce seeds. There's so many things that I have going out there, but when I'm doing it, I'm gonna video it and show it to you. So I am going to show you all the plants, how big they are and how much they're thriving. So I'll be right back. Okay, so there's the potato plant. It's going crazy. I can't really, usually what you would do with a potato plant, and I'm gonna show you this in a couple of weeks when I plant potatoes in these potato bags over here. I'm gonna do that with you. Actually, I'm gonna do that maybe even this weekend. But as the greens come up out of the ground, you keep burying them, because as you can see when you look close, you see all these little hairs and stuff. Those will turn into roots, and then it'll grow more potatoes. So the more you cover it up, it'll just grow more and more potatoes underneath. And you'll see when we do the process with the potato bags how that works. Now here are the cucumbers. Now I noticed something was kind of like eating them, and I think it's gnats. So I bought these little sticky butterfly things, and as you can see, there's some dead gnats on there. It's just a little damp in here, and so those are just gnats from the dampness. So I bought those sticky things on, I can't remember where I bought them. I bought them online somewhere. So You'll have to look. I can't remember where I bought them, but it was easy to find. These are the wave petunias that are looking really great because when I put them in there, they were tiny. I was wondering if I transplanted them too early. And that kale is still going and I'm still eating it. Look at the peas that we planted together. Look how big they are. They're looking for something else, so I have to get those outside. This is yellow squash, very happy. This is broccoli, this is kale. This needs to be transplanted. Look at the roots coming out of the bottom of it. I kind of waited too long, but it's gonna be fine. And then look at this zucchini. Look at all those flowers on it. It's absolutely getting gigantic. Here's the cabbage that we planted in the newspaper. Here is the artichoke. Look how big that's getting. That is a loofah plant, another kind of a squash. More artichoke. That's the celery. That's going to go outside soon. This is Swiss chard and collards in here. And here's some Tulsi tea that I grow a lot of that. I love that. These are the beets. These are the beets that we planted. And look at the basil. It's going crazy. And I'm going to probably chop that down a bit, starting to want to go to seed a little bit. So I'm going to chop that down and make some pesto. Here is the chamomile doing beautifully. I love chamomile. These are the straw flowers, catnip, celosia flowers. These are also status flowers. And I grow these flowers to decorate the garlic with later in the seasons. These are tomatoes looking very healthy that need a little bit of space. I don't like it when my tomatoes start to get like crowded because they don't like that moisture. They need like a lot of air. So as soon as it's less cold outside, I could start spacing things out near these windows. But it's so cold right now, I don't want to damage them. We have two more baby basils over here, and these are the peppers and the cilantro. I could cut that down. The mint, this is pineapple mint. I think that's another catnip. But look how great everything is doing. Everything is ready. They're ready to go. They're ready to go outside. So I can't wait to start bringing this outside. This is a little bit of spinach right here. But yeah, there's lots of stuff. So definitely what you should be doing right now is figuring out what your zone is and figuring out your last frost date so that you could figure out when you can plant stuff outside. Now, I am going to take you outside. So if you don't have a space for your garden right now, what I want you to also do is look where you have the most sun, where the sun isn't blocked for most of the day, because a lot of these plants are going to need a lot of sun. And so you need to find a spot where it's going to get sun for most of the day. Now, if you're planting in containers, you could do that anywhere where you're going to have sun. Just put the containers there and get some good soil. So the soil that I use right now, I'll show it to you. Hold on a second. This brand here, I use this one. Oh my goodness, you can't really see it. Fox Farm. Happy Frog. And then I also use Coast of Maine products. But I think the most important thing is to get organic soil. Now, if you're planting out in the garden, you're going to want to probably amend the soil. So look at the type of soil that you have. And when I start planting outside, I'll go over what type of soil you want to see and the things that you could add to your soil to make it healthier for the plants. A lot of plants are very, very hardy and they're going to grow very easily in just potting soil. But if you want to grow directly into the ground, say you're going to kill off the grass or remove some of the grass and start building up that soil, I'll go over what you need to do with that. But if you want to like get started right away and you're in a place where it's like warm outside, maybe you have a raised bed garden that you purchased. That seems to be a big thing this year. I've seen them everywhere. I've seen them on TikTok. I've seen them on Amazon, all these raised beds. My suggestion would be to keep the raised beds small. So like 4x2, because you want to be able to reach across it. And if it's too long, it's going to bow out from all of the weight of the dirt. And don't fill it completely with dirt. Like maybe put some cardboard on the bottom of it. And you could even put some wood chips if it's really deep. But if it's like a foot deep, I would probably put like just cardboard and dirt If it's like deeper than a foot, if it's like tall, it's like 2 feet deep, definitely fill it with some wood chips and cardboard and maybe even some sticks, just so you're not spending tons and tons of money on dirt. Okay, now if you want to grow directly into the ground, that's something I'm going to cover probably next week. I'm going to do a small spot outside and show you what I would do if I wanted to create a bed really, really fast. It's not always the best way to do it, but I'm going to show you how you could do it if you're feeling like a little bit overwhelmed. You don't want to spend money on a raised bed. I just also have to add before I get off, I was at Aldi's yesterday and they had raised beds. It was like two, kind of like 2 by 3, I think, which is a nice small thing to start with, but it was only $20. And I almost bought it because I was like, I just want to see what this is. I might go back and get it because I was intrigued. It's a really good price. And you could be like creative and plant in certain other kind of things, but be careful what you plant in. You don't want to plant in plastic that's going to kind of leach into the food that you're growing. So you want to plant something that's safe. You don't want to plant in treated wood because that's not safe either, unless a lot of people will line the treated wood with plastic, but I'm like, kind of defeats the purpose, right? So a lot of the garden beds that I have outside are either built with like rocks, and I will show you this. Actually, I'm going to go outside right after this and I'll show you exactly what I'm planting into. But I want you to keep in mind that I've been building this garden for years, and so I don't want you to think that instantly this is something that you have to be doing. Like, start small and build off of it if you like it. So the garden beds I'm going to be getting for my strawberries are going to be metal, and I have raised beds built out of stones that are here on the property that are free. It's a lot of work because they're heavy, but they last forever and they're beautiful. And the only downside is that chipmunks like to kind of hang out in the stone walls. So that's definitely a downside. Or directly into the dirt. So I am going to take you out there like right now and I will show you what the garden looks like. Okay, so we're out here in the garden, and this is one of the beds I was talking about that I built. Now this is for the herbs that I grow to use for the skincare. Okay, and as you can see, it's empty. This is some lavender that's just waking up a little bit, but some of the plants in here, I think this might be some valerian that's coming back, which is exciting that that's coming back. And on the end here we have some oregano and lavender, and this is all going to be planted with herbs. But this was a lot of work, but it will last forever, and it's very healthy. It's not going to do anything to the crops that are in there. Okay, so it's really windy. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear me very good, but we're walking into the main part of the vegetable garden. Oh, Millie is crazy for chasing leaves, and it's windy out, so I just built this little walkway this year out of the rocks, and as you can see, this mound right here in front of us, in between the wood chips, these are the mounds where we're going to be planting the food. I also will probably put peas in here or something that's going to climb. And then I built this bed right here for my greens, and then something that will climb up over here on both sides. Okay, and then I just have little mounds all over the place, as you can see. And I built I put the flowers in these little square boxes. But as you can see right here, these are leeks right here. This is some garlic. I randomly plant garlic because it's really good to keep pests away. So I'm not going to harvest this garlic, but I plant it just randomly throughout the garden. Now this garlic is, I don't know if you can see it with my shadows. Right here is a new type of garlic that I'm testing out called Music, and so I will harvest this garlic. And here is another mound. Oh, sorry, that was chives right there. That comes back every year. It's a perennial. Okay, now if you're unfamiliar with the terms, perennial is something that will come back every single year, and then you have annuals that die every year. That's some more garlic. And then you have biennials that kind of reseed themselves every other year. In the background there you can see some more chives, but this is where I'm going to plant my tomatoes here. And I put these poles up that I'm going to build the support out of. And that is the compost pile behind it. So then here we have some more mounds. And then this is going into my new part of the garden where I have all the, it doesn't look like much now, but it's going to be magnificent. But right here we have an elderberry that is coming back. I see some new growth down here at the bottom. So it's an elderberry. And these are new raspberries that you can't really see them, but they're right here that I moved. So there's 2 rows here and then lots of rows right there. This is a blackberry. And then we have, oh, my dog's going crazy chasing leaves. We have these blueberry bushes. We have 4 and I'm getting 2 more this year. And as you can see, they got like nice buds on them. And then here is where I had flowers last year. Some of them are coming back, but we're gonna put 2 raised beds, the metal beds I was talking about, and we're putting strawberries in. So that's everything we'll be planting into this dirt, and I'll be adding compost to it for some new nutrition for the new plants. And I'll show you how to do that when the time comes. I have to have a fence because we have deer that eat everything. If I didn't do this, there would be no garden. She's crazy. She's crazy. Oh, oh, oh. Don't hurt yourself, girl. Now this over here is the garlic bed. It goes all the way down there. The garlic is all the way down here. This is empty, and this is where some of the flowers are gonna go that I showed you inside that the deer don't eat. So that's where all that is gonna go. It's windy, I don't know if you can hear me. But this is where the onions are planted here. You can see one of the red onions kind of coming out the top there. And then down here, you can see all the garlic just starting to come up. All these baby garlics right here. There's about 1,200. And that's everything. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a square of land somewhere. Maybe we'll do it like inside over here. Maybe a 4x4 square or 2x2 on top of this grass. And I'm going to show you how to build up to plant a garden directly into it. And we'll do that next week when we do the potatoes.